All right, you guys, welcome back to the channel. Before we get started on this video, we start off with a deep breath. Inhale through the nose and exhale throughout the mouth on a count of three. 1, 2, 3. Inhale through the nose. Exhale. Okay. This is your moment to be present in this moment. Bring awareness to this video, bring awareness to yourself, and let's begin our video for today. All right. So, for people who are new to the channel, my name is Joshua Tree. I'm a breathwork facilitator, and I specialize in helping men heal their inner child wounds to become more whole and more and to boost their self-confidence and their self-worth. All right. So, if you're interested in doing some men work together, please hit me up. Also, I have some other changes going on with my business right now. So, I'm doing a lot of revamping around my brand right now. So just bear with me for people who are looking to work with me. Okay. But for right now, I am taking clients for men's work and I am doing breath work locally right now. Okay. I am located in New Orleans. And so if you around this area, definitely hit me up and come to one of these powerful breathwork events I have coming up. All right. So today, this video is inspired by one of my great subscribers. I'm going to spell out their name, Flower with a double R, 2462. Okay. So I was given a question in my last video. I talked about trauma is not bad, it's just untapped potential. And my subscriber, was commenting and leaving a lot of great feedback. So I want to place more emphasis on what was being shared. Okay. So this was something that they shared to me. They were saying that so using the pain to make good, question mark, but it don't take the pain away. Superheroes is like an alter ego to separate the pain from within and will separate the pain from within the true vessel and pretend it's not real for a moment. So I totally agree with this, and you are totally accurate with this. And so, like I said, for people who have not saw the previous video, I highly recommend you watch that video before you watch this video. I'm gonna go more in depth on what I meant by the hero's journey and utilizing trauma for your best and highest good. All right, so we about to get into this video. Okay, so for people who are not aware of what the hero's journey is, just to keep it simple, it's someone who goes through a difficult experience and chooses to expand, chooses to grow from it. All right, so let's define the altered ego, because I think this is it could be a lot of misconceptions around the alter ego, and ultimately the alter ego is actually a great aspect to transformation or to growth if you know how to utilize it in a healthy manner. Okay, so the alter ego is a secondary self. It's a secondary part of you that is separate from the from the original self. Okay, the alter ego embodies different characteristics, strengths, and behaviors to perform a specific need in the moment. Okay, so you can consciously create an alter ego. All right, to overcome any obstacles, any insecurities, to boost self esteem, to boost confidence, to boost creativity. All right, and so the alter ego, you can look at it as a part of you that you create to get you out of certain comfort zone. Okay, or to deal with a certain level of discomfort to get you to the next level in your life. So a prime example of what the alter ego looks like is what her name is from Beyonce, Sasha Fierce, I believe. That's what people say. That's who Beyonce turns into when she's on performance. And so in science, they will call this the alter ego effect, right? So think about it like Batman and Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is a philanthropist. He is a businessman, right? At night, he completely transforms his whole entire identity. His voice changes, his looks changes, his behavior is completely different. And in that moment, he utilizes the Batman identity to fight crime, right? To defend the city of Gotham, to defeat his arch nemesis, to do all these crime fighting things. He turns into that part of himself, and then once that part of himself is finished doing the task, he goes back to being Bruce Wayne. Okay, so like I said, my subscriber is completely 100% right. It is literally a shift in identity, but it's not addressing the trauma. So that's where we about to go a little bit deeper. Okay, now we understand what the alter ego is. Let's talk about what I would coin the evolved self. Okay, so when we look at superheroes, all right, this is what they do, and I swear, this is a thing, right? In the superhero movies, they do not address the trauma. All right. So for us, right, as humans, we need to understand that when we're going through some type of traumatic experience, we need to heal that particular part of ourselves and evolve into a different version of ourselves. Meaning we want to integrate that trauma that we experience into the present self and take that experience with us and not ignore it. So what that will also be called in science, researchers call this the PTG, which is post-traumatic growth. And what post-traumatic growth is a positive psychological transformation that is experienced after struggle with highly challenging circumstances. So if you experience something that's traumatic, what most people do is they just continue to move on with their life. They never address the trauma. They say it happened, whatever, I moved on, I didn't die from it. They just completely ignore it and they go about their life. Now you got to understand something. Whenever you're traumatized, in that moment in time, physiologically, your body is frozen. Your body freezes itself to protect itself. So in that time, that energy is still stuck in your body. It's still frozen in your body. And the way that you know this is anytime you bring up that experience or anytime someone invokes that experience inside of you, right, you freeze up. Okay, so I'm going to show you an example of what that looks like in a superhero movie.
Stop where you are. How did you get here? By accident. Who are you? What are you? I'm just one of us. From the multiverse? That's right. Prove it. We had a sister, Donna. She died when we were kids. How? We were playing on a frozen lake and she fell through the ice. I couldn't save her. Sounds about right. But we don't talk about that, do we? No, we don't.
Now, you can tell from this Doctor Strange clip that Steven hasn't processed that experience that happened to him when he was a boy and his sister. You can tell based off of his response. He's trembling. His voice don't sound confident. It don't sound strong. It don't sound like he processed and grieved. It sounds like once he started to talk about it, he was still emotional about it. That's an indicator that you don't want to address that particular type of trauma or issue that you experience, and it's just sitting there. So what we do as humans is we don't try to revisit those parts of ourselves. We don't revisit the past because we figure, well, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can help. Nothing that can help it. It is what it is. I moved on with my life. And we've been socially conditioned that if we just move on from the things that we have experienced, then it will heal us, or it will, you know, they say that you can't, what they say, you can't change the past. That's a very popular phrase. But when you do inner child work specifically, the only way you can change the present is if you change the past, because the present is being influenced by the past. If your inner child has been experiencing if your inner child experienced trauma, especially in of course abandonment, rejection, emotional neglect, humiliation, whatever. When you get into relationships, and if any experience that is similar to that experience that you had when you was a child, you're going to get triggered by it, and you're going to keep sabotaging your relationships. You're not going to know why you're doing it, and it's because you have not healed that inner child and those traumas that influence you as a child, and so it's influencing your adulthood. All right. So don't get caught up in the hype of thinking that, well, the past is the past and I leave it in the past. No, that is the most foolish thing you can do. That is social conditioning. That is not real healing. You're literally bypassing all of your superpower. Okay. Because you can take that and bring that into the physical, into the now, and use that as a level of growth, let's just say. Okay. So what the superheroes miss is weaving their stories of pain and trauma together to be a source of wisdom. They avoid that, and they just create a different alternative identity and try to identify that to become more empowered. We're not doing that. That's not what we do, okay? What we are doing is taking in the stories of pain and trauma, and we are interweaving it with who we are today, the story that we tell ourselves who we are today, as a form of evolution, as a form of evolving, as a form of integration. We're integrating, okay? We are bringing the parts from the past and the parts from the present together, and they become one instead of the separate identity. The alter ego is a separate identity. You only put on the mask when it's something that you have to do in the moment that you fear, or something that is uncomfortable for you, such as Beyonce getting on stage and have to perform in front of millions of people. But it's not who she is on a consistent basis. With the integrated part of us, right? The evolved part of us, you never take the cape off. You never take the mask off. This version of who I am right now, this is my integrated part of me. This is not me when like we're not hanging around and you don't never see this part of me come out. This is me on a 24-hour operation. This is not an alter ego for me. This is full integration. This is full embodiment, right? So, by you integrating and becoming, okay, this new identity that becomes permanent, not something that's temporary like the alter ego, right? What happens is you start to develop your superpowers. So let me give you two prime examples. I suffered from a heartbreak. Okay. I was in a traumatic heartbreak experience maybe about 19 years ago. And I had a decision I had to make. Either I revert back to my old ways, right? Which is having sex with random women, turning to marijuana, hanging out with friends, bullshitting, and just dealing with the pain, or not dealing with the pain, just really ignoring the pain, just trying to self medicate. Or I can just leave all those maladaptive coping mechanisms alone and find another way to deal with this experience because it was too painful. I needed to do something different. And so I choose the latter. And by me choosing the latter, I start to understand how to heal myself. I start to understand how to heal my heart. I start to understand how to self love myself. Okay. And so by me learning all these different modalities, taking on these different certifications, just going through all these different transformations and finding ways to process and understand. All right. Keyword, understand what I went through and why I had to go through it to become the person I am today. I cultivated superpowers. My superpowers is now I can help other men heal from a devastating experience. I can share my wisdom, aka my superpower, what I learned to help them heal themselves. That's the superpower. Okay. Whatever you experience, you take that with you, especially if you help heal yourself and you bring it to the collective. Okay. If you think about Spider Man got bit by a spider and it changed his DNA. Okay. So it actually became who he was. Spider Man is a greater example than Batman because Batman, he just got on a suit. So that's really just like a mask he has on. If he ain't got that suit on, if he gets shot as being Bruce Wayne, he dying. Like what the fuck? He ain't nothing popping. But with Spider Man, he can still be a superhero even without the Spider-Man suit on. He doesn't need the Spider-Man suit to be Spider-Man. Okay, so that's a prime example with a more evolved superhero who has done some bit of work. But the only thing about Spider-Man is he got bit by a spider, so that's what changed his whole DNA. That's what gave him the superpowers. But in terms of like taking the experience that he had by his uncle Ben dying or being killed, he utilized his gifts of being bit by Spider-Man for the greater good. So that's the watered down version of it. Still didn't do the work technically, according to me, but that'll be the best we can say with that. So that's his superpower, right? Doing this, right? Doing this shit all day, right? So, like I said, when you go through your experience, you're gonna find ways to heal. And by you finding ways to heal, it becomes a part of your identity. And then you're going to start to attract other people who need that support. And you're going to know exactly how to hand them your medicine. You're going to know exactly how to give them your superpower because you've done it for yourself. Another example would be me is I went through another particular I want to say relationship betrayal. And in that relationship betrayal, which I'm very grateful for, I was able to discover more of my inner child. My inner child came out in that whole experience. And that's what led me to doing inner child work and healing my inner child. All right. Now, by me healing my inner child to such a large degree, I have the awareness and the capabilities to help other people heal their inner child. That's a superpower. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's like when you do the work for yourself, when you actually go back to the part of that you keep avoiding, you actually cultivate the wisdom, the gifts, the talent, the energy. You start to remove the compressed energy. It starts to awaken your body. You start to get the downloads. You start to understand how to utilize that energy to support the collective, right? That's the integrated or the evolved self. There's no separation. It's together. So to keep it short and to recap, your pain is someone else's medicine. If you do not take the time to understand your medicine, then you will never heal the person who needs it. Okay. I think I shared everything that I needed to say in this video. Um, Please drop me a comment below if this made sense, if this was supportive, if you see a different perspective. If not, I'll do another one. Okay. We do it. We'll just keep doing until we get it right. You know what I'm saying? But I hope this was very helpful. Um, Thank you for the comment as well, because I really wanted to, like I said, like give a different perspective and a more deeper perspective. So like I said, I hope this helps. Drop a comment below. On that note, I'm gonna let y'all go. Peace.